look, I really don't know what happened or why stuff be that way sometimes, you know. This a picture, you know, that was taken in the hotel room at 1044 Riverside Drive in the city of Macon, Georgia, you know, in the state of Georgia. This was like before August 9th, 2015. Because, you know, I had went to jail on August 9th, 2015. The person that was at the hotel room said that her name was April. She said that she is my wife. She said that, you know, she was, you know, according to my marriage license, the person that has a birthday of April 30th, 1986. And I really don't celebrate birthdays like that, you know. And it's crazy because since April 30th, 1986 is the day of my marriage license, because my marriage license says April 30th, 2004 as the date. A lot of people will be like, you know, the anniversary of being married for me is April 30th. You know, every year is what they say it is. So, you know, they will be like, hey, you look sad in the pictures and stuff. Why you be looking down and looking sad like that? And, you know, like I see it in a lot of the videos, you know, my birth certificate says March 4th, 1984. They said I was the youngest of what they call a family. They said I was the baby of what they call the family. But them grown people was grown people that, you know, they was grown people that was having sex with a child, you know, with children, with a child, you know. You know, like, it's crazy, you know. When I was, like, in elementary school, I was the child that they was sexually abusing. Me, you know, being abused as a child, you know. And it's in elementary school, you know, that's crazy. It was grown people having sex with children, you know, and they said it's called sexual abuse when a grown person has sex with a child. They said it's called child molestation when a grown person has sex with a child. A grown person having sex with a child? You know, stuff like that. And then they're like, wait a minute. But you was in elementary school. That's even more crazy. It was like elementary school students not supposed to be having sex at all. You know, it's crazy. So it was like, you know, if a person did something to you, it's not your fault what a person did to you, especially if you did not ask them to do that stuff to you, you know. I think I was in room 221 of the Macon Inn Hotel located at 1044 Riverside Drive. I'm not sure how old I was, but, you know, I think it was sometime like during the year of 2015 when they took this picture right here. Because my hair was kind of like that, you know, during that time. And I was like, you know, I was like, am I weird? Am I bad? like, why did they do all that stuff to me? You know, that's what I would be thinking. I would be like, if I'm the baby of what they call the family, like, why did they, like, am I wrong? Like, was I supposed to have more than one baby mama? Or was I supposed to have sex with different people? Like, it's like, it's the only thing that I know that seems different about me than the other people. You know, that's what I would be thinking. And the person that was there that was with me, you know, she said her name was April. She had this like strange look on her face, like, no, Brendan, like, not. It's like it was like this how it was. It was like it's like she knows something about something that I didn't know about, you know. And like it might have been something like crazy, you know. And since I guess I was already so crazy and stuff at the time, feeling so bad, I don't really know. So, you know, she had told me again, you know, then, you know, she was like, maybe it's some other girls that you like or whatever. And if you talk to them and if you go around them and stuff, and, you know, maybe you might, you know, notice something or you might find something out, you know, or, you know, and by notice something or find something out, it seemed like he was saying, like, you might feel the way you feel, you know, me, myself, you know, I may feel how I feel about, you know, what she said and stuff like that is crazy, you know. She was like, you know. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? She was like, well, just, she asked, do you want her to go get another girl or something? Or do you want to go find another girl or something? And I was like, what am I supposed to do? She was like, you know, well, girls like you, girls will talk to you and stuff like that or whatever. She was like, she'll go with me and stuff like that. So, you know, one time I had got on the bus and I don't know, it was weird. It was like, I got on the bus and I was going to Tennessee. It was like on a Greyhound bus. And this girl had sat down next to me. I don't know what was going on, you know, because um, it was like just sit next to her or whatever and stuff like that or something. The way they had the bus, it was like it was a setup or something like that. The way they had it on the bus, it was like a lady was sitting in the seat, you know, on one side, and then somebody was sitting on the seat on the other side. And when I got on the bus, instead of anybody getting up and saying, oh, you can sit next to your wife, you're all married and stuff, it's like they wanted us sitting in separate, different seats, you know, like being in separate places or something. I don't really know what happened then after that, you know. I was sitting next to somebody and he was like, well, she told me to try to talk to another girl and stuff like that or whatever and stuff like that and see, you know, what it feel like trying to do stuff like that. I think she was like, see if it feel right or see if it feel wrong. And it seemed like it felt wrong, you know, to take it any further than, but they said, like, it seemed, they said having sex mean going all the way. I didn't have sex with anybody on that bus trip. Not only did I not go all the way, I didn't go anywhere, really. I didn't do anything at all, honestly. You know, because it was like, did you kiss a girl on the bus? Nope. Did you, like, stick your hand or your finger or any of your body parts, like, inside of her and stuff like that? I'm like, no, none of that stuff didn't happen. It was like, I was just sitting next to a girl on the bus and I don't even really think I said a lot of stuff to her or whatever, you know. It's kind of like she leaned on me and I kind of leaned on her and, like, a lot of this stuff wasn't even really intentional because, you know, me being disabled and stuff like that and having like a lot of body damage and stuff done to me, you know, it's kind of crazy or whatever, you know. And the girl that I was with told me she wanted me to do that kind of stuff, you know, like, and it's crazy because it's like, I don't really know, you know, it was some weird stuff that happened in that hotel room, I tell you that. And it was like, what do you mean by weird stuff? It's like, okay, what I'm saying is that when I was in that hotel room, like, it's been a court case they said that was going on, you know, when like being married, and like, it was like, they say it had something to do with a girl trying to get saved, and it's kind of crazy. It's like, that mean different stuff to different people. They said when I met a girl named April Williams, you know, looking at them pictures, it looked like it was different people, and it was like, it's kind of hard to know which one was which, and it was like, yeah, because it was like, you know, they said different stuff about her. They said that she was one of them girls that was going out with grown people when she was a teenager or when she was a child, and they was saying bad stuff about her. But I'm like, but if she was a child, but if she was a child, like if she was a child, why they weren't saying nothing about the grown people that was trying to have sex with a child? If she was a child, like, you know, she probably like was crazy because, you know, if grown people was having sex with children and she was a child, then like, she was a child. I mean, like, you're not supposed to blame the child for being a child, but you know, something seemed wrong when the grown person was trying to have sex with the child, you know, stuff like that. You know, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, they say like being a child, the way that they have it set up with marriage licenses and courtrooms and the law mean if you're not old enough to get a marriage license, like 18 years of age, then they say you a child. If you 18 years of age, then they said you old enough to get a marriage license. And if you old enough to get a marriage license, if they said no sex before marriage, they say if you old enough to get a marriage license, you old enough to be looked at in a sexual way. Because if a person look at you and you 18 years old and they say they want to marry you, part of them being married to you may include them having sex with you. Because they said being married is the same thing as a sexual relationship, because a husband would have sex with his own wife. You know, some people use the word spouse. They said a spouse would have sex with the spouse, you know, a person is married to. So they say if you are married, the person you are married to is your spouse. And part of being married is, well, if they said no sex before marriage, then they must mean when you married, you supposed to have sex, or you can have sex, you know, stuff like that. Like, it's crazy, you know, because it's like that you would even have to say all of this stuff, you know. But some people say, yeah, you do have to say all of this stuff because, like, you know, people crazy these days. People been trying to have sex with children. It's some people out there that feel like they want to have sex with a child. And just because they want to have sex with a child, they'll try to say a person that was 18 years old, they'll try to make you feel like you was trying to have sex with a child, even though if a person 18 years old, they old enough for a marriage. They old enough for a marriage license, you know. And according to being old enough for a marriage license, that means they saying that they are not a child, you know, in them kind of situations. And so, you know, I have a marriage license, and it says April 30th of 2004. And it say that, you know, the girl was 18 years old, April 30th of 2004. And it says that, you know, the boy I am was 20 years old, April 30th of 2004. They said it's age appropriate. They said that's how the law say it's supposed to be. As long as you just 2 years apart, they say that's okay. But if like some 99-year-old man was trying to get married to an 18-year-old, they was like, yeah, he wrong because he way too old. He way too old in them situations like that, you know. Cause they was like, it's just weird, you know. And so, like, when I was there, I was feeling bad because I was like, them people that they said was Yolanda and Willie is child abusers and child molesters and stuff like that. And, it was some people, because, I had went to a mental health court and stuff like that. They was like, why they didn't come to none of your court dates? Why that lady that said she was Yolanda Johnson, if she was your mom, why she didn't come to none of your court dates? At mental health court in the city of Macon, Georgia. Oh, seemed like she not your mom. She didn't really care about you. They said if that dude that said his name was Willie Johnson was really your dad, why he didn't come to none of your court dates, in Bibb County in Macon, Georgia, when you was going to mental health court? Seemed like he's not really your dad or whatever, because when was he ever being a dad and when was she ever being a mom? If you went to mental health court in 2017, 2018 and graduated in 2019, why were they never, like, why did nobody ever see them? And then since way after that, because 2019, you graduated in 2019, they say it's 2023 now. It's years later. So she didn't bring any of the children that they say were your children, and she didn't come at all. The lady that they say is your mom. Or the dude that they say is your dad. But they want the children to call them grandma, granddad, big mom, or big dad, or big daddy and stuff. But this is crazy. Because, like, if she was never being your mom, how could she be a grandmom? And if he was never being your dad, how could he be a granddad? How can he get the title of being grand as a dad if he was never even a dad? And how could she get the title of being grand as a mom or a mother if she was never being a mom or a mother? Because they was too busy trying to have sex with a child. A child. They was too busy trying to have sex with a child. And it's crazy, man. So no wonder you would be looking that way. No wonder you would be looking that way. And see, it's like a cigarette in your hand. Oh, you would smoke or whatever. Stuff like that. Oh, okay. You just see. And you didn't want to do drugs. I mean, yeah, they know that at the mental health court, because, like, when I was in mental health court, they would, like, drug test me and they would alcohol test me, like, almost every other day. Sometimes it was, like, every day, Like, and then, after a while, they was like, oh, he doesn't really do drugs or alcohol and stuff. And, like, they had these people that it was on a team or something. I don't know. It seems like they know more about stuff than I do, and they know that I'm not that type, because it's like they had a curfew where they would do pop-up visits. You would never know when they was going to show up, but they would show up, and then they would do like a breath test to see if I've been drinking, or they would do like a alcohol test. I think it's the same thing, and they would do like a drug test and stuff like that. And then I would go to a doctor at River Edge, and they was like, yeah, he really don't be using any kind of drugs or alcohol. And it was like, he mostly just seemed like he be smoking like cigarettes and cigars and stuff like that. And yeah, when he was going to mental health court, like, none of them people that they said was supposed to be brothers or cousins or families, it wasn't any Johnson people or Williams people claiming to be his family at all. So it's kind of crazy. And it was like, why would they be mad at him for being married? And why would they be mad at her for being married? Because he has the kind of marriage license where it says him and her, where the husband is him and the wife is her. you know, that kind of marriage where the husband is what they call a male according to his birth certificate, and the wife is what they call a female, you know, according to her birth certificate, you know, using those courtroom documents and those government birth certificates and those government forms of identity of a marriage license that has a birth date and a name, you know, stuff like that. And so they were like, you know, what happened when you was in the hotel room? They was like, the girl that was there, she kept saying she had a little sister, and they was putting crazy pictures and stuff on the internet. And like, what do you mean by crazy pictures? The girl that she said was her little sister or her baby sister or her youngest sister, they said she was like 18 years old. They said she was old enough to get married. And what was going on in that picture? It was like, I don't really know. They said that it looked like she might have changed, or was it the same person, or it might have been a different person. They said it was people that was smoking and grown people, and you know, they was talking about doing drugs and alcohol and having sex and stuff like that. And she was like, you know, the girl that was with me was like, what you think gonna happen to her? She throwing her life away, and she old enough to get married and stuff like that. Like, she don't really need to be doing it. So, you know, that's what the girl that was with me would be saying. And she was like, could you talk to her or something, or could you try to like give her some kind of advice, or tell her something like to like to go in a different direction or something like that. And I really didn't know how to talk to her or what to say to her or how to really talk to her and stuff like that, you know. You know, the girl that she was telling me to talk to, because like, well, I have a marriage license, and you know, and they said that the girl that she wanted me to talk to, you know, just talking, was like 18 years old. So they said she was old enough to get married. I was like, I didn't call her on the phone, you know, and ask to speak to her, because like, I wouldn't want to be accused of harassing her and trying to talk to her, or, you know, stuff like that or whatever. Because, you know, it seemed weird or whatever, because, you know, they said they was trying to use children as, you know, to make people look bad, you know, like in different ways. You know, they said they tried to use the children that they said was my children to make me look bad just because they weren't there. They was like, he don't got his children. He's a loser. He's a bad dad. And they were like, no, this not what happened. His children out there because a court took the children from him that they said was his children. They said a child was born August 31st, 2004, and the child may have had some like sudden infant death syndrome, and I took the child to the children's hospital, you know, a lot, you know, trying to figure out like why the child could not talk, you know, because, you know, they said that, you know, like, well, you know, other children will usually be talking by the time that they was that age, you know. And I was like, it seemed crazy because, you know, the girl that was with me, you know, she was saying her name was April. She was like, she had another baby, and I don't know what that means. She said she got pregnant on purpose and had a baby on her own because she wanted the child to have a brother or a sister, and maybe if it was another baby, he would have somebody to talk to and somebody to play with. You know, she had that kind of attitude about it, and I was like, but I was like, but I didn't really want to have any more children and stuff like that, because, like, you know, well, think about what happened. What if they tried to say, look at him, he got one, two, three, like, you know, children, and like, and they took his children from him. Like, he must have did some bad. They were like, no, I didn't do anything bad. I took the child to the hospital when the child was like sick and stuff like that. And they said the children was in need of supervision. And that's when they said the children was in need of supervision. Because, the child that was born July 18th, 2006, they had this little thing to where it was like, if one of the children like was in need of supervision, since I have a marriage license, and it said it was, and they said that both of the children was, our children being married, children of the husband and the wife, and they said I am the husband and she is the wife. They said it was a family court, and they looked at the marriage as being the family, and then the children as being the offspring of the marriage. That's the way they explained it to me. And it was like, since the family, the marriage is what they said the family is. So when they was looking at it that way, they was like, oh, so when you look at it that way, so you saying that the marriage is the family. And since I am married, my family is my marriage. Because the people that said they were sisters and brothers and all that other stuff, like, they don't have any evidence of being family with me or for me, because it seemed like they was trying to look out for their own self and for each other. And, they didn't seem to really care about me at all, because it was like, the people that went at the family court, they like saying, they was like, at any other family court dates that you ever had, whether it was, October 6, 2006, none of them people didn't actually come to your family court dates claiming to be family or any love for me. So it was like, you probably, should, not be so stupid as to like let them, make me feel different ways of looking stupid, and it was like, that's why I felt so bad in that picture right there. And it was like the girl that was with me, on August 9th, 2015, I was like, this feel crazy. I feel crazy. Something seemed wrong. I was like, you keep on, the girl that was with me kept saying something about her little sister being 18, and her little sister, and she was going to throw her life away. She don't know what to do. She was going crazy about her little sister. And I was like, I'm going crazy about it too. Because if you hear and you saying that that's your little sister, and you saying that you going crazy over the situation, well, all of that crazy energy from you going crazy about the situation is making me feel crazy. What in the world is going on between you and your little sister that's so important to where you going crazy and all of this stuff like that and stuff? And then, somewhere between then and then, I was like, you know what? I'm finna go find out what's going on. I'm finna go find out what's going on, whatever it is between you and your little sister that's so important. And then she jumped in front of the door and was like, no, don't leave me for my little sister. And I'm like, well, I didn't go nowhere, because I'm thinking like, I wasn't leaving for the little sister. I never asked her for a divorce or nothing like that. It's just that, on August 9th of 2015, according to my marriage license, it said I had been married for more than 10 years then. And since it had already been more than 10 years, I'm like, all of this mess about your little sister and your little sister and your little sister, I only ever had sex with a person using a birth certificate of April 30th, 1986. Like, this big sister, little sister mess need to stop. I'm not part of a sister marriage or whatever. And I was trying to find out what was going on, And I don't know why, but she's like, the girl that was with me, she was like, oh, she thought that I was going to try to leave her for her little sister. They was like, I never said any of it. This was crazy. I still don't know what was going on between her and her little sister or whatever that mess was that they was talking about. But I don't really feel crazy about it anymore, because I was like, you know what? In order, being married, like, you can't really worry about stuff like that, because, you see, that's what it happened the first time. All it do is just make you crazy. And it seemed like for no reason. Because as many times as a person said, they little sister, they little sister, they little sister, they little sister, I'm still here with the marriage license, and I never went to any sister. Whether they said it was a little sister or a big sister or a cousin or an aunt or anybody, And they know that. They know that. They know that. And they know that. And so they were like, when you was in the hotel room, what the girl did, she was like, well, it was like she told me the same stuff that they been telling me. She said she went out with grown people when she was a child. She said she did too much. I don't know what that means. She said she went out with them grown people. She said she named some names and stuff. And I get tired of saying this stuff, but she said stuff that sounded similar to like that she went places with people, and some of the people they said their name was like, they used words and letters and names like TJ and Jamal or Jamel or stuff about somebody named Pete or Terry or Mark or I don't really know, they and one of them girls like, like that said they was her cousin or was with them. I don't even know if it was the same girl after all this, but they kept saying their name was April. Was that some dude house named Brian or some fishy or something like that or something like that? It's crazy. Them people said that they was in like a gang or a frat or something like that. And I don't really know what they was involved in because, when I seen that girl, she had already known them before I even, got married. Because they was like, when you saw that girl and she was at that dude's house and they said his name was Brian or Fishy or something like that, or Fish or something like that, Brian Green, they was like, did you tell her to go over there or did you? They was like, no, I don't know how she know them. I don't know what her relationship was with them. She said some girl name was Stacey Williams and that she had full-blown sex with the dude named Brian Green and that she was his baby mama in the 9th grade, that a girl named Stacey Williams was a 9th grade single mom or pregnant with the baby of a dude named Brian Green. That's what they said. And that, I was just a virgin boy that had never had sex at all before. Because, I never had a sexual relationship during that time with anyone at all, Like, so it's crazy, because they was like being abused and molested is not a sexual relationship. Being abused sexually is sexually being abused. Being molested, sexually molested is being sexually molested, sexually molested. They're like, being in a sexual relationship is like, when you married or when somebody said like they your girlfriend and stuff like that and y'all was being sexually active. They were like, yeah, the only person that I ever, was in a sexual relationship with ever in life is the person that they said is my wife, that it says that she was using the name April. She said she was born in 1986, the date of April 30th, 1986. And as soon as she said she was 18, according to the birth certificate, was the date of the marriage license, April 30th, 2004. I still have marriage license today, And like, and so it was like, what happened? Like, like, I don't really know. It like, them pictures of them girls look like different girls was saying that stuff. And it was like, one of the girls said that, like, that she said some crazy stuff. Like, it was on August 9th, 2015. She said that she didn't want me to leave her for her sister or something like that, and that she wanted me to fight her or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to do that stuff. And then it's like she used that religion stuff, because, since I believe in God, she was like, well, if you don't want to fight her and stuff and you ain't gonna leave, she feel bad about all that stuff she did. She was like, can you, like, I don't know what the word is, I think it was like it was like, it was something about God chastise those he loves type stuff. And so she was like, can you chastise her or something, or like, this stuff like in the Quran, like could you give her 100 lashes or something? Like she wanted like to be hit with a stick or something, or get a spanking or a whipping or something like that. You know that stuff because I don't know why she felt like she said she felt like she had did too much and didn't want to get away. And I was like, I don't want to do this stuff. I don't want to do this. And she was like, but you got to. I really didn't know what to do, because it was like, there's some crazy feelings right there. Not knowing what's going on with all of this her in her system is going crazy and not knowing what to do. Having a life of being abused and molested and treated like garbage year after year, not really knowing what's going on. And then, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And she was like, no, you got to keep going. So, I was like, something seemed wrong what they did in the courtroom and stuff like that. Because they was like, why is it that when you went to court, with God as my witness, why they didn't say none of this in court? Why the girl and the people that was in court, they was like, maybe it wasn't the same girl and like somebody stole her identity and they did something against the law. Because they was like, yeah, it's ways of knowing about this. And the girl that was in that hotel room, she definitely did say all of that stuff that he's saying. She said her name was April, all of that stuff. In order for the police report to say that she was his wife, she said she was his wife. And yeah, she did ask him to do all of that stuff. And she used that church stuff to get him to do it. Because she was talking about she feel like she was in sin. She feel like she did too much. She said that she went out with all of them different dudes and she made me wait until I was 19. But she went out with some of them dudes and they didn't ever even have to wait at all. And then she felt like she did me wrong and she didn't want to feel like she was cheating or trying to get away with doing bad stuff to me. And I was like, it don't matter. And she was like, no, like she think that I was going to leave her and go and be with somebody else because of all of the stuff that she feel like is bad stuff that she did to me. And she was like, she wanted me to punish her or something. And I was like, I really don't believe in doing all this stuff. But she was like, no, you got to do it. So, I was like, a lash, a lash, a lash, And then I was like, this don't feel right. I can't do this. She was like, no, you got to keep doing it, like. And then I was like, a lash, a lash, a lash. I'm like, you know what? I can't really do this no more. I just can't do this. And then like, what happened after that? I was like, yeah, just do some jumping jacks or something like that, and then go on in the bathroom or whatever. Because they was like, why you told her to do some jumping jacks? They said my leg had got broke and messed up before, and they was like, when your leg is all the way broke, you can't feel it, and then you wouldn't be able to stand up or walk on it at all. If it's just injured or damaged and it's not broken, you'll still be able to kind of work with it and stuff. So, when I was going to the doctor, they was like, that's what I learned. So I was like, if you do some jumping jacks and move around that way, I'll know that you okay. And then, nothing ain't really too serious. So she did a couple of jumping jacks. And then, I told her, so you need to go to the bathroom and like clean yourself up, like take a shower and stuff like that. Because, this just crazy. And it made me feel crazy. While she was in the bathroom, or something like that, because, I never went outside the hotel room. While she was in the bathroom, and they were like, yeah, they were supposed to say all this in court. When you told her to do some jumping jacks and then you told her to go in the bathroom, they was like, what happened then? Like, some people that said they was police officers, and looking back on it, some of them people said they weren't even real police officers. They was criminals. They tried to set you up, Brandon. They came banging at the door and stuff like that. Like, open up, let us in or something like that. And I'm like, since I felt like I didn't do nothing wrong, because like you did what a girl told you to do, and she said she was your wife, and it was your personal business if she was your wife. If she says she knows she went out with a bunch of dudes before she got married to me, and I don't know if she went out with dudes after she got married to me behind my back. I don't know what that was about on August 9th, but she felt like she had did something really, really wrong, and she said, she insisted that I do that stuff to her. And they were like, yeah, it's ways of them knowing, and they like, he telling the exact truth. They were supposed to say that in the courtroom. Whatever she did that made her feel so bad that she wanted him to do that stuff, she was supposed to say, yeah, and Brandon kept saying he didn't want to do it. Matter of fact, he didn't do it because, you know, when she kept telling him to keep going, he stopped and said he can't do it. So if he stopped and said he can't do it, you know, it was like, yeah, he didn't really do all of it because it was like, yeah, he can't. Like, yeah, I'm just not an abusive type of person, and it started seeming like yeah, that's wrong. Like, I can't really do this stuff, you know. And I was like, you know, I don't really know what happened after that because they was like, a police wrote a police report and said that she said this and she said that, but they was like, it don't really seem to be any evidence that she ever said any of that stuff. It's only evidence that a police wrote that stuff down in a police report. They said, like, you can't really say if a person named April said any of that stuff because that's not her handwriting in the police report. She never said any of that stuff in the courtroom, but she definitely told Brandon to do that stuff to her. And they were like, and see, that's the trick to it about it that didn't make sense. And it was like, what do you mean by this? The trick to it or whatever? Like this some kind of game or whatever. I don't know what kind of game they was playing, but I'm not playing no game. What I mean about this, the trick to it is that, see, what I'm saying is that somebody they said a girl named Stacy told a girl named April to go out with a bunch of different dudes and basically make a bunch of bad choices and bad decisions doing sex stuff, or I don't even know, possibly full-blown sex. I'm not really sure. But whatever it was, they said a girl named Stacy would tell a girl named April to do a bunch of crazy stuff. And after April would do a bunch of crazy stuff, the girl named Stacy would be like, I can't believe you did that. And she would be like, you crazy, you stupid, you nasty, you actually did that. And they said the girl named April would be like, but Stacy, you told me to do that stuff. Like, why would you tell me to do that stuff? And so I'm not really sure. And that's what was crazy about it, because I never understood why, if you was in the 9th grade, you know, and a girl was a single mom and was already pregnant, and they said she was having sex with grown people, you know, that girl named Stacy. They said the girl named Stacy is the one that was having sex with grown people because she was the one that was pregnant in the 9th grade. I was like, why would you have even been hanging out with her? You know, because if she was a girl that was in the 9th grade and was having sex with grown people, then that means grown people was trying to have sex with a child. And it's that same story. Grown people was having sex with a child, and a girl named Stacey that was supposed to be a child got pregnant with a child. You know, she was pregnant with a child. She had a child. A grown person or somebody got that girl pregnant. It's crazy. You know, she said she was her sister and her cousin and stuff like that. And like, you know, them people that they was hanging around, it just seemed crazy, man. They kept asking for rap music and beats and stuff. It's like they'll be obsessed with rap music and rap beats and stuff. And I'm like, I would tell them, man, I don't even like rap music and stuff like that. You know, I was playing on the piano and on the computer and stuff, and it was little stuff that sounded like beats, but people was talking about getting record deals and getting rich and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do none of that stuff. So, you know, no, because and then they were saying that they was in gangs and stuff like that or whatever, and talking about being from California and New York and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, my birth certificate said that I was born in Alabama. I never even been to California before. And I'm not from New York. So I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be guilty of false claiming, whatever them, they say they be calling it like cliques or crews or sets or gangs and stuff like that, It's crazy, because they were like, that's how some of them girls got in trouble. Some of them girls said just because they was having sex or somebody was their baby daddy or their boyfriend and they claimed they was from here or there or California or New York and said they was in a gang or this or that, some of them girls start trying to act like they was in the gang too. Like if he wore a red bandana, then they wore a red bandana too and claimed that they was a gangster. If he wore a black bandana, they wore a black bandana too and claimed they was a gangster. If he wore a blue bandana, they wore a blue bandana too or claimed they was a gangster. And when they got mad at their baby daddy and stuff, they'll wear the other color bandana, whatever the rival gang was. And then they would try to make people like me fight the dudes that they already had sex with before when they was a child. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So, they said it was some dudes, and they was like, they said it was some dudes that, they said this what happened. When I was there that day, they said some dude that they said that girl April was hanging with a girl named Stacy. They said it was the people she was with. They said a girl that said her name was April was hanging with a girl that said her name was Stacy Williams, talking about they was cousins. And they said they had the same, like, I don't know. They said they was like sisters or something because, they said they family was one of them families where like the brother and sister would be having sex with each other, and then sometime the children would have the same dad and the same brother and be sisters and cousins at the same time, and stuff like that, And they said sometime the dad would have sex with his own daughter, and then one of the daughters would end up having the same dad as her child. Because they was like, when a dad has sex with his own daughter, then and she have a baby, the baby end up having the same dad that the mom has, because the dad of the child would be the mom of the girl that had the child. So she would be looking at her child like her dad is the mom of her child. And then it's crazy because when a child be a girl, the child be like, so your daughter got the same dad. And you is her mom. So you as a mom got the same dad as your daughter because you had sex and a child with your own dad. So your dad is the dad of your daughter because you had sex with your own dad, and your dad is the dad of your daughter. It was that kind of mess was going on. And I was like, yeah. I'm not really trying to be part of that kind of stuff like that. It's crazy. So, it was like, when I was there, and it was like, I didn't know about it then. And they said it was something called projecting and stuff like that. And people tried to do some kind of magic or some kind of witchcraft and stuff. They said that's when they tried to put thoughts and ideas in my head. It seemed like they kept on trying to get me to have sex with a child or something like that or whatever. It's crazy. It seemed like it's because they had already did it and they wanted me being part of a group to where I wasn't, because it was like, if he never had sex with a child, then they can't really include him in that group. And they was like, you didn't want to be included in that group. That's a bad group. They said them people was going to get in trouble for having sex with a child. And they was basically just trying to get me in trouble. They was trying to find a child that they thought looked it good or that they thought looked it sexy. And they was trying to influence me to want to have sex with a child. And they was going to act like it was the thing to do. And they was like, as soon as you would have did that, they would have said you in trouble with the people that had sex with children. And they said it was all a trap and a trick. And they was taking advantage of me, feeling bad, and was like, feeling like maybe somebody else would love you more. And they was like, that wasn't really love, because they just wanted to see that you had sex with a child or just anybody else other than a person using a birth certificate of April 30th of 1986, because they wanted it to be a Brandon's fault of some kind of sex crime that I didn't have. And they said it's because them other people was, sex offenders, and they was mad because I was not a sex offender and I am not a sex offender. So they was like, if they consider he had sex with somebody that wasn't his wife, or if they consider he had sex with a child, and they were like, that's the worst thing you can say is that he had sex with a child. So they tried to do that. They didn't even care if it was like a person that was 17 or 18, they would have still said it was a child just to try to make it look bad, Like, even though an 18-year-old, they say is old enough to get a marriage license or whatever. So, they said that that's what they was trying to do. They tried to say she had an 18-year-old sister, and, they said that if she was real mean to you, the girl that was with you, and if it was different girls, they said if one of the girls was real mean to you, it's just like what they did now. They said if a girl took your money and your clothes and did all this stuff to you. They said the reason why they took your money and took your clothes and did that stuff to you, they wanted you to run behind what they said was their little sister. And then they was gonna say, see, he wanted her the whole time. All this time, he been wanting to have, he been wanting to have sex with a child. With a child. And they was like, that girl ain't even no child no more. They said that she grown, you know. Like, she way over the age of 21 or something like that. I don't really know how old she is because I ain't been keeping up with all that. But they was like, she not 18 or 20 or 21. She older than that now. So they was like, yeah, they was like, these people crazy. And they was like, what? They was like, what? They was like, I don't know. They was like, somebody had made a bet or something like that. They said that he was gonna want to do it to the youngest sister or whatever. And I don't know what happened. Like, they said something bad happened because you weren't supposed to accuse somebody of being, a way that they not, and they was like, something bad happening that they ruined their life for other people. Like, they was like, this dude ain't never come looking for no little sister or none of that stuff. So they was like, yeah, somebody did something wrong or whatever. And it was like, I'm not even sure why that stuff would have happened that way. So it was like, when you look at this picture right here, it was like, why did you feel bad? And they could tell you feel bad in this picture. I felt bad because on July 18th, when the child was born, I was like, I didn't want to have more than one child. I don't want to be a murderer, so I didn't get mad and I didn't try to hurt anyone. You know, I went to the hospital and the child was born, and, you know, I came back to the apartments at 402 May Circle in Warrior, Alabama, you know. And it's the same apartment where I told the girl that she didn't have to work because I was like, if you wanted to have all these children, you ain't supposed to be at work. You supposed to be at the apartment taking care of the children that you wanted to have because you wanted him to have a brother or a sister. And if you claiming you my wife, yeah, you supposed to be being my wife at the same time. You can't say it's either I'm going to be your wife or it's either I'm going to take care of the children or it's either I'm going to have a job. I'm like, you weren't supposed to be at nobody's job. You were supposed to be at the apartment with me first because, you know, first come love and marriage. And if it was any child or any children, you were supposed to worry about them after you make sure that I'm straight being married. Because they said that's the ultimate betrayal if you promised that you was going to be married to me because it's a marriage license and stuff like that. Even if somebody else was saying their name was April, there's evidence that, yeah, somebody had promised that they was going to be married to him and they was using the name April, you know, and he has a marriage license. You'll be like, you can't cheat him out of a spouse. Somebody said they was going to be his wife and they was going to be married to him. And being married to him, it means being married to him. Not working at somebody else's job. Not trying to be there for other people that say they're your family. But how they your family if they being mean to me? You know, stuff like that. So they were like, yeah, something don't add up about that. They were like, you know, this was years later, you know, and they were like, you know, I felt bad, you know, so they were like, was it ever any domestic violence and stuff like that? Because, you know, that August 9th, 2015 stuff don't seem to make sense. You wouldn't just all of a sudden become a crazy, violent person, and you wouldn't just all of a sudden be like, something happened in high school and I'm just now bringing it up. Yeah, they were like, yeah, they seemed like the police lied in that police report because, yeah, August 9th, 2015 is way after 2004 from high school. If you was like, if something happened in high school that bad, then they be like, you wouldn't have never got married in the first place. Because if you got married on August 31st, 2004, I mean, April 30th, 2004, thinking about that child, that birthday of August 31st, 2004. But anyway, if you got married according to your marriage license, you got a marriage license on April 30th, 2004. And then that mean that's when she was in high school, you know, and you didn't go to no prom or none of that stuff. You didn't never go to no club or none of that stuff. You didn't go to no middle school prom. You didn't go to no high school prom. And people know why now. You felt weird about sex because grown people was having sex with children. Grown people was having sex with middle school students. I was in elementary school when I got molested. So it's like grown folks was having sex with elementary school students. The people that they said was the brothers in the house that I was in, they not my brother. They said it was a dude named Antonio Johnson, and they was like, you got to make sure you really let people know about him. They like, he claimed that he disabled and stuff, but they were like, he a child molester. It was a girl named Tay Tay and Coco, and they said Tay Tay name was Angela Davidson or Jackson, and then or whatever name her mom would use. She would change her name to whatever her mom last name was. Like, she was a lady named Shun daughter, and they said it was a girl named Coco. Tay Tay was the big sister of Coco, and Coco was the little sister. The girl named Coco was like younger than Tay Tay, and she was like younger than me. The dude that they said name was Antonio Johnson or Tony, he was older than me, you know. They said they tried to pair them up together. They tried to bring Tay Tay and Coco to the house to do sex stuff with me and him. You know, she had already been doing sex stuff with that dude, Tony, because they called him Punkin or Antonio or Tony or Punkin. And it was another dude named Tony she was doing sex stuff with because they said her mama name was Sean and she had a brother named Tony. And it seemed like it was an incest family because they said Yolanda named her child after the dude Tony as if she had sex with her own brother. So they were like, they been doing that stuff because, like, naming your child, your brother names, like you had sex with him. And then it's crazy because, like, they were like, when they tried to, because the way they did, they tried to say, since Tay Tay is older than Coco and Tony is older than you the little brother, Brandon, and Coco is the little sister. So you and Coco go in the room and do stuff, and I was like, that girl a little girl, she a child, she way younger than me. She was like, I don't know, it seemed like she was at least 4 years younger than me. And they were like, yup, there's evidence that he was never even trying to be a child molester and didn't know what was going on. He said if that girl was like way, and they were like, but you know what's crazy? The dude that they said name was Punkin in Antonio, even though he older than me, he still did sex stuff with that girl that they said name was Coco and Ashley anyway, because they said Coco name was like Ashley Jackson or Ashley Davidson. And they would say that they had different dads. They would say something about a dude named Greg being their dad, or a dude named Barry being their dad, or a dude named Frankie being their dad. And see, I growed up like that. Them dudes would be fighting each other over the church and over them girls, and them girls wouldn't want them anyway, or wouldn't like them anyway. And they'd do the same stuff. They'll accuse us guys of being abusive when it was just them sleeping around with each other and getting the thrill out of watching us fight each other over them. And I'm like, see, I ain't finna be that type of person. So they were like, yeah, that dude that they said name was Punkin or whatever. And they said he not my brother. They like, that dude, the child molester. That girl that they said was Coco, Ashley, she was way younger than me, and she was way younger than him. And he did sex stuff with her anyway. I said no, and he kept doing it. You know, that's crazy. And like, that girl that they said name was Tay Tay, they said, yeah, she is the one that molested me because, like, I never did anything with her. Like, you know, I was never on top of her. I never kissed her. Whatever that stuff is they call, whether like putting your mouth on it. I never put my mouth on her, you know, like whether they call it oral sex or sucking breast or whatever. I ain't never did none of this stuff. They were like, yeah, I was a full-blown virgin when I went to that girl house that they said name was April. I was just a dude that had been molested a little bit. And they were like, well, whatever that stuff that the Tay Tay, they were like, that Tay Tay girl had got on top of me and did stuff with me or whatever, and she wasn't the youngest of a family or whatever, and I didn't even know what sex was. And then I told her that, like, yes, you can't really do none of that stuff, and I ain't really want to do none of that stuff with her and stuff like that. And you know, I never told her to do any of that stuff to me or with me or any of that stuff. And then, you know, I was like, you know, it's crazy because I was like, but the sister that they said, like, oh, he was doing more than them. But you know, about me, you know, they accused me when I was in the hotel of doing something to a girl. And I'm like, that girl asked me to do all of that stuff to her. I don't know. It's like, it's that crazy church stuff, you know. They said she felt like she was guilty of sin and doing stuff wrong. And since she said I was her husband and her preacher and her pastor and, you know, that I was the one that was supposed to chastise her and do that stuff to her. And for some crazy reason, the court got involved and accused me of doing something bad out of hate. And it didn't have anything to do with hate. And they were like, did they tell them in the courtroom and they have to tell the truth? Then you kept saying you didn't want to do it. Then you tell her you didn't want to do it. You know, what they called abusive. Then you stopped doing all of that stuff. And then, you know, it's like they got mad because you didn't want to do it. And they were like, long story short, They got mad at me because I wouldn't have sex with nobody. Now, who is they? It seemed like it was the police or the people that was involved in that court case because I wouldn't have sex with nobody else. And they didn't tell the truth that that girl had told him to do all of this stuff to her. So it was like, when you look at that picture and stuff like that, it was like, yeah, they would have to say all of that stuff like that. And they was like, yeah, probably shouldn't be doing that stuff even if she asked me to do it. So it was like,